This video gives an introduction to the Compass Math Test. The Compass Math Test starts every student at an algebra level. If you get these questions right, it'll give you harder algebra questions. Slowly, the more you get right, you'll climb to beginning, intermediate, and then eventually college algebra questions. If you get the college algebra questions right, it'll advance you to the trigonometry questions. And if you get the trigonometry questions correct, you'll be placed into calculus. However, at the beginning, if you do not get the algebra questions correct, it will push you into the pre-algebra questions. If you get those questions correct, it will then bump you back into algebra, where you then have the option and ability to continuously climb to the appropriate level for your skills and abilities. If at any point you get to a spot where you get some right and then you get some wrong, the placement test will place you into the appropriate level math class. After you complete the Compass Math Test, you'll be given a piece of paper with a test and score number on it. All you'll have to do is look at the test and the associated score that you earned to figure out which class you placed into. So for example, if you ended up with the algebra test and a score of 52, you would place into Math 110, which is our intermediate algebra class. In addition to practicing for the Compass Math Test, another piece of advice I'd like to give you is to use your calculators. Yes, you can use your calculators. We allow TI-82s, 83, 84, 85, and other scientific calculators as well. But please, use your calculators. Don't let the questions you believe are easy hold you back from a higher placement. Okay, let's practice. During this slide, I highly recommend that you take the time to pause, work out these problems on a piece of paper, and then on the next slide, we'll check to see if your answers are correct. So come on, press pause, and let's see what you can do. And the answers are C, B, and E. How did you do? For the first problem, make sure you follow the order of operations. Some of us have learned the saying, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." Be careful, because that doesn't necessarily mean that you should be multiplying before dividing, or even adding before subtracting. The rules are, work inside the parentheses first. We have a division and a multiplication of fractions. Remember that when dividing fractions, you have to flip the second one and then multiply. And when multiplying fractions, multiply straight across. After you've completed parentheses, look to see if there are any exponents. If not, the next step you should do is multiply or divide. And to do that, you have to work from left to right. Do one at a time, whichever comes first, starting on the left-hand side. And lastly, add and subtract. In this case, we're going to have several fractions. And make sure that whenever you're adding or subtracting fractions, you get a common denominator. For the second question, it's a story problem. Make sure you take the time to read through the story problem carefully. Pull out the important information. For example, it says 75% had taken at least 8 math courses. That means that 25%, or the difference, took 7 or less courses. Also, it says of the remaining class members. So of the remaining 25%, and remember that of also means multiplication in math, so of the 25%, 60% had taken 6 or 7 math courses. So that also means that of the remaining class members, 40% had taken 5 or less. Taking a couple of those numbers together and perhaps multiplying, you should come up with a 10%. The trick is to take your time and break it apart. And the last question. In order to simplify this expression, you would have to factor the top, or the numerator. Start by first factoring out a -1 for your greatest common factor. You'll have a -1 times the quantity of x squared minus 9, and then factor the x squared minus 9 into the difference of squares, x minus 3 and x plus 3, and the x minus 3 on top and on bottom will cancel, leaving you with an answer of -x minus 3 after you distribute the negative. So what do you think? Are you ready to take the Compass Math Test? Before you do that, I'd like to reemphasize to practice. The best thing you can do to come in and be prepared for the Compass math test is to practice. So here's my advice. If you hate math, fractions, and story problems, then practice pre-algebra questions. If you like math, especially high school algebra 1 or 2, geometry, or other higher level math classes, then practice algebra or advanced algebra. And finally, if you would like some help practicing, come and visit us. Our Learning Lab is in the Learning Resource Center, or you can also visit us online. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Henry Ford College. Good luck!